I think it all started right.
Woohoo!
Kind of slapped it all together at the end there, real quick.
You did great, Joe. You did great.
All right. Hey, everybody. I see Zach and Ember so far.
Hey, Zach Amber.
What's going on? So, Jess and I, we share a lot of different media things back and forth, and this is this is this is one of those things that Jess said to me, and she's like, "We should cover this," and I was like, "Oh, we definitely should. This is perfect." Um, Ken Ham is just so butthurt that Bill Nye got a medal from the president.
He got his little
Um,
feelings hurt. He got his little feelings
yeah,
hurt, and it
and
shows.
and it would be one thing that he's butthurt, but he made it really obvious too. Like this video is like, it's like cringy obvious. Like
It
it's
is.
bad.
How cool.
And
I didn't get a medal. I won a medal. I did things.
yeah, he was like to me the first thing I thought is he reminds me of the old man telling the kids to stay off his lawn. Like he's just like
Yes.
bitching. He's just he's just complaining about things that have not a thing to do
Anything.
with
Yeah.
yeah, with anything. He just um, complains about everybody that got him. I like it. At one point, he says, which we'll get to it in a minute. The video is not real long, but I like the part where he says, "I wouldn't want a medal from Joe Biden anyway."
Like, oh, honey, you weren't gonna get one.
Yeah, yeah,
Aw.
yeah. They don't hand out medals for being a dipshit.
No, no, they don't make them for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they maybe he'll get a participation ribbon, right?
I'm excited
But
for this because he does make such an absolute fool of himself, and I thrive on that.
yeah, I was like, even if I was so bothered about something that like I made a video like this, eventually, like, I mean, not that I expect Ken Ham to have like any kind of like be in touch with reality whatsoever, but like at some point though, like I would cool off about it and be like, I need to take that down. That's bad. That looks really bad. Uh, um,
All
yeah,
right,
a bunch of
Austin says I'm very like a polite Canadian, and I'm like, sorry.
yeah. This was Jess's idea.
It was too. It was too. I'm not usually a being on here person, so we'll
Yeah,
give it a try. We'll see how
yeah.
nervous I get.
I mean, other than us working on well, actually, I don't know that since you've been helping me out and stuff that we've actually done anything on stage together
No,
publicly. Like,
no, we
no,
haven't. I'm sorry.
no. Like, there's been some behind the scenes stuff, like we did the trivia stuff,
Yeah,
and you helped with you were actually behind the scenes in the recording for the video a couple days ago, but like we haven't
yeah.
actually done any kind of reaction to anything or any of that. But all right, so I'm trying to BS around a little bit to let people show up as they want
Yeah, no,
because
that's valid. I'm loving all of the comments in chat. And yes, Deviant Outcast is my bestie, and I loves this her. She is amazing. Um, Austin is shaking his fist and taking over Zach's place is shaking fist, so I don't know what's going on there.
why is I can't stand. I guess it has to be this software that does this to my camera that makes it like the
Dumpy?
zoom screw up. I don't understand why it does that, but whatever. This is like the fourth stream now where it's been an issue and I've yet to fix it. So um, the yeah, usually I do like a member stream on Fridays or something like, which I could probably still do that tomorrow or something. I may, I don't know, but um, with the other video this week, and then this, I didn't want to restrict this to just members, especially since a lot of the free memberships are running out right now. They I didn't want to do that, so because it's just too good to not share with everybody.
That's such a good I know we're building it up. We're building it up, but I really enjoyed this clip because of the tears. The tears are.
Let me get. We're gonna.
William Sanford Nye.
All right. So there we go. That's better. It's all in vertical layout, so that's how Ken Ham did it.
Does that for everything. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. Again, just more like playing into the he's just a grumpy old fuck. Like.
Yeah. Yep.
But a little background. So Bill Nye was given the Congressional Medal of Freedom. It's the highest honor that the president can give to a civilian.
Civilian,
And he was given the medal for his work in science and his years as a science educator, and just, he's contributed a lot to education of young people. And I don't know about lots of you guys, but when I was going to school and stuff, Bill Nye the Science Guy came on every day after school, and I've seen like every episode of that show. Not to mention the
fantastic dinosaur episode too.
Oh yeah. We watched it at school sometimes. So I mean, like, then Bill Nye's been a big advocate for climate change.
Yes.
And
he brought that up with him as well when he was touring the Ark after their debate. He tried to bring up climate change, and Ken Ham just kept shooting him down and saying, "Nuh-uh."
Yeah. Among people in our space, Bill Nye does get a little heat for that debate, because it wasn't especially helpful for him to lend credibility to the stupidity that is Ken Ham. But I mean, he was trying to do a good thing. I mean, it wasn't like he did it in some kind of malice or something.
No.
Let me I can't even take those off there, can I? Okay. So let's get into it here. And the video is only 7 minutes long, and we'll be stopping several times here. If you need me to stop before I do it on my own, just tell me.
Okay. Hi, Pinworm.
That's what I need to do, is get back to the chat. Hi, Pinworm. Hi, everybody out there. Stephanie and Aunt Jer, Deviant Outcast, Austin, Zach. We've seen Amber, Nancy.
Good crowd.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up, everybody.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody that watched and commented on that last video. It's doing really well, and that's awesome. Thank you so much for all the kind words and stuff. Everybody was really nice and seemed to like it, and so thanks. That video was a lot of fun. It wasn't even like work, really. All right, here we go.
Does Bill Nye deserve the Medal of Freedom that was given to him by President Joe Biden recently? Well, let's think about that for a moment. It wasn't just Bill Nye, by the way. There were a number of people, including Hillary Clinton and George Soros. And of course, all those support abortion, killing children in the womb, LGBTQ worldview, which is an anti-biblical worldview.
All right.
Oh, okay.
None of them got medals for any of those things.
No, that I had to look it up. As a Canadian, I did not really know what the Medal of Freedom was, but having looked it up, it has nothing to do with any of those things. And he's just already with the tears. Like, he starts out strong with the tears. And I mean, I'm here for the tears because go Bill Nye. You go ahead.
Well, like it's like I mean the thing is that the medal these people got medals for their contributions to society in various ways, and he wants to bitch about everything that's not that. Like, it's not, and he's trying to, like, it's kind of a poison the well type deal here, where he's trying to say, well, these people are all bad because they support an anti-biblical worldview. I mean, like, so does 3/4 of the rest of the world. Like and even most Christians don't agree with your biblical worldview that you have. So, like,
it's a small niche.
Yeah. Which is again why it kind of seems like he's saying, well, I deserved a medal, you know?
It does feel that way for sure. Or
Yeah.
that he thinks like a famous Christian should have gotten it for doing Christian things, whatever Christian things are.
And he's like, but all of those topics too, though, he addresses individually, and we'll rebut the things he says as he gets to them. But it's a weird way to open, bitching about a bunch of things that were completely irrelevant to all of this.
And left-wing liberal ideology. It's interesting what was stated as the award was being presented to Bill Nye.
Earning 19 Emmy Awards for his energetic experiments on television as Bill Nye the Science Guy, he also earned the trust of millions of children and families. By sharing the magic of fun and science, he inspires generations of Americans to follow facts and reason and leave the world better than we found it.
Well, he certainly hasn't left the world better than he found it. He's left it worse than he found it, but we'll talk about that in a moment. And
the sass! Oh, the sass.
I mean, because he didn't teach pseudoscience from a boat in Kentucky, he's left the world worse, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the 19 Emmys, like, he didn't get those for nothing, right?
No.
Like he's been recognized throughout his career for the great work that he's done, not just the science education, but the quality of that he was putting forth.
Yes.
So again, it's like, yeah, I mean, you can feel that way, but like, to make the objective statement that he's made the world worse, it's just doesn't really follow. I mean,
because it's entirely subjective, because you have a different worldview. Of course, it's opposite day for Christianity. We have, what does he say? We have man's worldview, or do we go from God's worldview?
Well, I would say that God doesn't have a worldview. Man has a worldview that includes God.
That includes God. That's fair.
And then projects their worldview. And that's exactly what he's doing here, right? He's projecting whatever his worldview on and saying that's what God wants, because that's what I want. Yeah. So it gets better.
And to follow reason. In other words, don't follow God. You follow yourself. You make man your own God. In other words, that's what he was really told. You're getting this Medal of Freedom because you taught children to be their own God. Wow. That's what you need to teach children. Here.
Okay. let me get this real quick, and then
Yeah.
Amber gifted 5 Kentucky Atheist memberships, and
Oh
it
my
looks
gosh,
like
Amber.
Pinworm, Kevin Lloyd, Martin, Boho Shadon. Am I missing one here?
Did you get
Pinworm.
Kevin?
Jasper. Jasper was the other
Jasper.
one. Yeah. All got memberships. Thank you, Amber. That's very kind of you, and welcome to all the people that got memberships. Yeah. So,
Wait, did she do it again?
do what?
It says that. Oh, there's like a bunch of new ones coming up on my screen
Oh,
now.
there is. Yes, there's more.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Amber gifted 5 more Kentucky Atheist memberships. It looks like Azula, Dean Kruger, Hot Mess Summer, and Blaster Master. Did it just give me 4 that time?
Oh, Amber, you are so sweet, honey. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Amber. I appreciate that a lot. Very kind of you, and thank you for doing that. But so now I got to go back. That thing I was saying about the member stuff. It looks like those
Yeah.
are clowning again.
Yes.
But anyway, so he completely misrepresents the whole thing here, because they just said why they were giving him the medal, and then Ken Ham takes it and twists it into, well, really what he got it for is telling kids that you shouldn't believe in God.
Yes.
And,
yes.
Like, wow, just because Ken Ham's pseudoscientific bullshit includes a position where it precludes the science, and he has to deny science in order to hold that view.
Yeah.
It doesn't work backwards that way, though. Like Bill Nye didn't suggest anything to kids about religion. Instead, he taught them accepted mainstream science with the best information that was available at the time.
Oh, but as we learn later in the video, he does not like some of that science that.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Which again is why this is just like a complete bitch fest from
like I just want to edit him with like a little violin sounds or something.
Yeah,
he's tiny violins.
It was just really ugly, the because it's like the whole time you're watching this, it's like, oh God, he's really that butthurt about this. Like, he's trying to you can tell he's trying to like sound at least contained about it, but like that he's really just completely pissed off with the whole thing.
Yes.
All right.
Here's a medal. So Bill Nye gets the Medal of Freedom, and he certainly has supported women who want to have abortions.
When it comes to women's rights with respect to their reproduction, I think you should leave it to women. Nobody likes abortion, okay? But you can't tell somebody what to do. I mean, she has rights over this, especially if she doesn't like the guy that got her pregnant.
He has said that.
So that's not what he said. Like, Ken Ham says he's done this with abortion. No, he supported women to have bodily autonomy is what he supported. In fact, said he didn't care much for abortion.
Yeah. Freedom.
Yeah.
Medal of Freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. It's there'll be a lot more of that coming up.
What makes one male or female is not so clear-cut, and he tells kids sexuality isn't that simple.
What makes someone male or female isn't so clear-cut. How about attraction? Some people argue the natural thing is to only be attracted to the opposite sex. But in practice, it ain't so simple, kids.
And some are gay, some are bi, some are asexual, etc. He not only teaches against the biblical worldview on gender, but actually he's telling people to trust science when real observational science makes it very clear there are only two genders.
So, because Bill Nye did actually say some of the words that he said there, I thought, well, maybe I should just, maybe I should deal with the claim that he makes here about what science has to say about it. And that's where we got this. So here we have How Science is Helping Us Understand Gender by National Geographic, which goes on to explain the complexities of gender and how gender is not the same as biological sex and that, explains it.
Okay, but we're talking
Sex
about the place that Kent Hovind calls national pornographic. They are not going to buy this.
Right.
They're not going to buy it.
Nature magazine, sex redefined. The idea of two sexes is overly simplistic, which is what Bill Nye said. And the National Library of Medicine, neurobiology of gender identity and sexual orientation. So all of these articles refute what Ken Ham said and show that what Bill Nye said was exactly right. It's not that simple. There's more to it, and it's not as clear cut as we once thought it was.
Doesn't even understand the difference between gender and sex, for goodness sakes. He's conflating the two already.
Yeah, he's talking out his ass as usual. But just to be fair, though, I thought, well, this is what science has to say about the things that Ken Ham claimed. What does it say about Ken Ham's belief? Well, the National Center for Science Education, the fatal flaws of flood geology, and goes on to explain how flood geology is pseudoscience. So when we're talking about what does science have to say about it, it says Ken Ham's full of shit.
Which I think we knew, but I love that we get to rub it in a little.
Yeah, and he and Amber's pointing out biblical view on gender isn't what Ken thinks it is. Yeah, you're right, Amber, and Godless Granny always covers this stuff very well. But Ken Ham is just projecting what he thinks it should be onto science when science completely disagrees with everything he just said, every word of it. But almost, it almost repeated verbatim what Bill Nye said about it, right?
Yeah.
So again, he's just wrong about this. Not only is he butthurt and looking like an old man shaking his fist at children, he's just wrong.
Oh, sorry, Zach. Sorry.
Well, yeah. All right.
When I interviewed Bill Nye, when we went through the Ark encounter after it was open, he said things like this.
When you die, what happens to you?
You're done.
You're done. Are we animals?
Yeah.
We're just
mammals.
an animal?
Breathe air.
Okay. From your perspective, all life is related?
Certainly.
Even plants? We're related to plants?
It's one of the fundamental discoveries in all of life.
Okay, so we're related to plants?
Yes.
So we're related to a banana?
Yes.
Okay.
What makes you think we're not related to bananas? You and I are descendants of Martians.
Okay, so first of all, biological. I mean, what to say about this, really?
I know.
Yes. Ken Ham. All of biological science is its foundation is built on the fact that evolution is true and that all living things are related. So
I think I watch so much more Kent Hovind stuff than Ken Ham because his go-to are all the slides, and he has those quips that he has, and those come to mind even when we're watching Ken Ham.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, really, in a lot of ways, Ken Ham's even worse than Ken Hovind. I mean, at least Kent Hovind has a little bit of charisma while he's saying stupid things. Ken Ham's here calling it an interview while he's just standing there repeating the same thing over and over to Bill Nye, looking stupid. And this thing about you and I are descendants of Martians is kind of taken out of context, so I'm not even going to address that. But
no,
I
kind of get what he's saying about like space dust and all of that, but I don't think Ken Ham is following.
Right. That's I don't think Ken Ham understood it this time around either. No. So, here is what he's getting ready to do here. This is the thing that really like pissed me off and made me want to do this video, though, because this just is an egregious misrepresentation of everything Bill Nye is trying to teach these young people and everything he's saying. But you can decide for yourself.
Okay, and that's not crazy. And that's not crazy. Is it crazy that you and I are descendants of Adam and Eve?
We are descendants from a common ancestor. I don't
but
know
is
that
it crazy that God made the first man and woman and we're descendants of them?
For me, there's no evidence of that.
So is that crazy?
But I wouldn't use that word.
What would you say?
It's you're betraying your intellect. You're not using your head. So we establish laws by consensus.
Yeah. What's crazy is to stand there and keep saying, "Is it crazy? Is it crazy?
Is it crazy?" And he's like, "I'm not going to use that word that you want me to use."
Yeah.
Can you stop?
Yeah, I mean, again, Bill Nye is a famous science educator. He's not going to stand there and call Ken Ham crazy because he has religious beliefs. Mm-hmm. Even if some of those beliefs are completely unsupported, just things that Ken Ham makes up as he goes, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, he well, we'll just let him do it.
Like consensus. So
our tribe gets together and decides what's right and wrong.
Okay.
So not that we agree on degrees of rightness and wrongness.
Okay.
A parking ticket not as serious as running somebody over with your car.
So there could be a different consensus by a different group.
Absolutely, and this process is what we call.
You just said absolutely, but that's an absolute.
Very much.
Of all the things that was said there, you said absolutely.
He thinks he's got him, a gotcha, and he's gonna hold on to that like he's got a little pebble.
Yeah, this was what Eric Hovind did this a lot back around this time. Was always like getting people to say, "Are you absolutely sure?" Man. I mean, yeah, he's saying we've decided on our laws and what things we as a society decide are right and wrong. I mean, like that is how we did it. I mean,
yes.
It's not even. I don't even think this meets the criteria to be an actual conversation about objective morality, which is what Ken Ham's hinting at. But I don't think he actually laid the groundwork for this conversation for that to even be what he's saying. Like, he was just talking about our laws and how that's kind of how we do things, in the modern era. Yeah. And it is. I mean, it's true. We talked about objective morality a little bit in the top 10 stupid things that creationists say video, but the thing that always comes to mind to me is that if we lived by what the Bible considered okay and moral in biblical history, you would go to prison for that, right? Like those things are awful. We as a society have learned to do better, not because of religion, but in spite of it. And so, although he didn't even, get to any of that part, I'll just go ahead and correct the stupid thing that he was trying to say, I guess. This whole I remember whenever this took place, I watched this like the premiere of this, and
Is it like 2017 or something?
20,
Around then?
2016, 2017, it was somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
But yeah, it would have been, I think it would have been 2016 actually. But either way, I mean, I remember watching this and just thinking, oh man, he's making that old man look stupid. Who is this old crazy guy?
You see,
But,
there's this book.
Yeah. My first question was, why did this Australian guy build a boat in Kentucky? Like, what?
Right?
Yeah,
We're
I mean, not
literally
that,
on an island. You could
not, I
just
mean,
build the boat.
not that he's not welcome to have it wherever, but just at first I didn't understand the thought process of why in the middle of nowhere, and because where that's at isn't like a highly populated area. It's
No, and yet they did get flooded when it first got constructed. I saw the flooding of the parking lot and everything, and that was just perfect. It was hilarious.
yeah, uh, yeah, that was funny, and he still catches a lot of crap for that today. All right.
You said an absolute.
Very much.
So if somebody said to you, I think types like you are dangerous, I want to get rid of you, would you say that's right or wrong?
It depends.
In other words, he's being consistent with his moral relativism. He told a little girl,
Are you telling
He's
this
not
little,
taking
are you telling
people's
this little
word.
girl that she is just an animal?
The word just I disagree with. She's a wonderful, beautiful animal.
well, he's telling children they're just animals.
He literally just said, no, that's not what I'm telling her.
This just so many things in my brain about the just in there, the just animals. And sometimes you'll talk to not necessarily creationists, but Christians that kind of lead towards creationism, but aren't like really involved in it. Where they'll have a disconnect and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're mammals because they learned that in school. But then beyond that, they're like, well, no, we're not apes. We're just humans that are mammals, but then also there's apes. At least that's what I was taught in my Baptist school.
My question would be, by what mechanism do you arrive at the conclusion that we're not an animal? Because we check
Exactly.
every box that all living things do. It's not like, I mean, sure, humans evolved the brain power over some other things, because there's animals excel at other things better than we do. I mean, birds fly and have amazing circulatory systems, which some animals swim. A lot of animals can judge which way is north. They have a compass built in, sensitive enough to recognize the magnetosphere of the Earth. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, animals do a lot of astounding things, a lot of amazing things. Chameleons change color. We could go on and on, right? I mean,
It's true.
snakes have jaws that unhinge. Like,
Snakes have
there's
jaws that bite can't open.
right, and the fact that we evolved more, like, to me, I always think it's like an RPG, right? That's the thing the metaphor I always make about this is, like, you have so many points to spread among intelligence and strength and different attributes, right? And humans, we got a lot of points in the intelligence area, whereas animals got their points in different areas, because there's this misconception that things are more or less evolved than each other, that they're more evolved, and that's not really how you look at it, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're fit to their environment, right? It's not a thing of they may be, one population may be more fit to its environment than another, and therefore one go extinct while the other carries on. I mean, that may be a thing, but like to say more and less evolved isn't really a thing. So in what way would you arrive at the conclusion that we're not an animal? And what is just animals? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just animals explains all life on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Under the definition of what is an animal, like that's everything that's living, plants and animals. That's it. All right.
Now, you might say beautiful, but how do you decide what's beautiful anyway? Oh, that's another topic. He told
Yes,
that
it
little
is.
girl.
So as you get older, just look at the world. I really encourage you to go to college.
He told that little girl to trust science and go
Did
to
not.
college as he was disagreeing with her believing in God.
That is not
No,
what he
no,
said.
no. Sir, I don't think we saw the same clip there, or the same interaction, because that is not what happened.
Only Ken Ham would make telling a kid to go to college and further their education a bad thing. Like,
Right?
and this is why I'm more than happy to do the Ark Encounter protest thing, and why I speak out against assholes like this, because
Yeah.
telling kids that they don't need to go to get an education because somehow saying go to college is equivalent to disagreeing with her believing in God. Like,
Yeah.
those things are not the same. This is the thing I was talking about a few minutes ago that I said really pisses me off,
Yeah.
because along with, he says he doesn't want what he's to play the same trick that Ken Ham's playing, only to be a little more precise, is he's saying that education is a bad thing, right? But
Yes.
what field did Ken Ham get into here recently? Homeschooling. So to me, that says that Ken Ham knows that their homeschool curriculum is not education, right? I mean,
Right.
isn't that if telling someone to go to college is a bad thing, then what he's doing, he obviously didn't start it up because he thinks it's bad.
Mhm.
He knows that he's teaching things that don't agree with reality or the natural world.
You think he's fully dishonest? Like he doesn't believe his own made
Oh,
up stuff?
I think in this case, honesty was secondary to him being bitter as fuck
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
whole metal thing.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
But just that's something that stuck out to me, though. It's like you have a problem with him recommending that kids get an education, yet you went into homeschooling and you say that your goal is to provide an education, but it's
Different kind
not
of
really to provide
education,
an
different
education.
indoctrination. Yeah.
Right? It's to provide religion in place of an education.
Yeah.
In reality, he was telling her not to believe in God. You know what? Bill Nye promotes a worldview that is anti-biblical, where morality is all relative, it's subjective. He promotes human reason above anything else. In other words, you being your own God. He's telling children they're just...
And then he sums up the wrong things that he said.
Your own God, aren't there some sects of like Church of Satan or something like that where you do kind of believe that you are your own God?
Yeah.
But that's just not atheism.
Even then, though, those are still like they're not really suggesting you're literally your own God. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure there are some that are. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
I don't know. It's been a while since I've looked into that.
hundreds of thousands of religions, right? The I think in most cases, though, what that's suggesting is that a God isn't in control of your life. You are.
Yeah.
You have control over those things. But yeah, he sums all this up as he has an anti-biblical worldview, which, so what? So, like, not, I mean, most people don't agree with your view of what's biblical, first of all. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Animals. He says we could be descendants of Martians, where we've really got no more value than a banana because we're all related to plants anyway.
how does being related suggest value?
I just like the way he said banana.
Don't let him sweet talk you, Jess.
Oh no! Oh no, I'm falling for it, aren't I?
Yeah. Don't let his Ray Comfort impression get to you. The what, like, being related, like, because you have a cousin doesn't mean you and your cousin are equivalent. Like, it's like,
Today I'm eating Bob the banana.
I mean, given in Kentucky, that has a little bit of there's a lot of a different nuance to that conversation, but like, it's not to say, well, he says you're related to a banana, so therefore you have no more value than a banana. Like, that's not the same thing.
No. No.
Not only are you wrong about your whole everything you said about it, but like, he goes out of his way to misrepresent the whole thing to try and make it look as negative as possible.
And when he says when you die, you're done, he's really saying that's it. There is no ultimate purpose or meaning in life. All is meaningless, all is purposelessness, ultimately. He's leaving the world a worse place, not a better one, by indoctrinating children in an anti-biblical worldview. And he's indoctrinated millions of children that way. You know, the Medal of Honor that he really needs is the one the Bible talks about. And that's the most important one. In Matthew 5:12, we read, "Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven." You know, that's the reward we need to be concerned about, that we know for sure we're going to heaven. And unfortunately, Bill Nye has rejected that.
Okay. How? I mean, I know that Bill Nye is an atheist, so he does reject that, obviously. But,
Yeah.
like, how does him accepting the Presidential Medal of Freedom in any way suggest that he's, like, shitting on that?
So, you know how feminism is intersectional? I think for Ken Ham, his intersectionality is like political, and covers all these things, which he then says is just Christianity because that's his interpretation of Christianity. So it's just become that.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very good point. I mean, I do agree with you. The thing is, though, is like, he has throughout this video, he keeps taking one thing, though, and conflating it with another thing, and then saying, well, because of this, he's this, and because he accepted this medal, he automatically rejects this, which, he is an atheist. He does reject those claims, but I mean, it's not a consequence of him getting the Medal of Freedom, though,
No.
which is what you're talking about.
Nothing to do with it. No. Nope.
I mean, he goes on about all this stuff about he rejects God and this and that. Yeah, that's not why he got the medal, though. I mean, he got it, again, for communicating science to children, to millions of children, and improving science literacy in our country over decades. Bill Nye, not just science literacy, but all the good causes and all the great things that Bill Nye has done and spoke out for.
Yeah.
It's fine that you don't think he deserves it, but to sit and, like, paint him as this awful person because he got it.
Somebody that you debated and, like, had conversations with, and turn around and make content like this about them seems also very disingenuous and very low to me.
Yeah. No, and I think that's kind of what I'm driving at here, is like, it's Bill Nye didn't decide to get the Medal of Freedom.
No.
It was an award that he didn't expect to get at all.
I think I'll just walk up there and grab an award.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call up old Joe B. Me and George Soros and Hillary Clinton. We all like abortion, so I'm gonna call up old Joe B. and get me a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Fuck yeah!
Yes.
I mean, that's not how anything works here. And
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
yeah. Hey, related story that's funny. I went to the grocery store yesterday. Now, I don't usually go to the grocery store because I hate my fellow Kentuckians for the most part. Hate's a strong word. I don't like to be in their presence. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
They don't like me. I don't really care much for them either. So, it's better if I just order my stuff and it gets delivered here.
That's what I do.
So we're walking down the aisle, me and Laura and my son, and we've got some stuff in a buggy. And this woman, the only other person in the aisle at Kroger, she waits till she gets up to us, stops in the middle of the aisle, and looks at us and says, "I fucking hate Joe Biden." And or no, that's not what she said. She said, fuck that fucking Joe Biden. That's what she said, because I said, I don't care what you do with your personal time.
Wow.
To which she then apologized for using that language in front of my kid. But
in front of
which, I wasn't really concerned with that. He knows what bad words are and what,
yeah.
He knows what language is acceptable in public.
Yeah.
But how crazy are these people that they just walk up to random folks in the middle of Kroger to tell me your political belief? Yeah, I could have given all the reasons why. I get the thing you're bitching about is inflation and all this, and how, America actually had less inflation than the rest of the world. There's a whole conversation you could have there about the politics of it.
Yeah.
But the bigger question was why is this even a thing? And that's kind of what Ken Ham's doing here too.
Yeah.
It's just it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy to behave this way.
Yes. Yes.
People are going to look at you funny and I mean, which, whatever, but all right.
And we need to pray for him. And then in 2 Timothy 4, 7-8, we read, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Henceforth there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And
wait. Is he then saying, via the Bible, that he should have gotten the award?
Yeah. Well, not just that. He's saying that he's getting a better reward.
Yes. Well, I don't care about your stinky award. I get a heaven reward, and that's a better award.
Yeah, well, which again, he goes on to point out here in just a second, because he says, I don't want Joe Biden's award anyway.
But also to all who have loved his appearing. You know what? Medals given by humans on this earth are ultimately worthless. It's what God bestows upon us.
Is it though, or is it what value you put on it? It doesn't, because you're right. That medal could, I mean, it just happens to be that the Congressional Medal of Freedom is not worthless, that they're very rare, so they're worth some money. I mean, you're not going to get rich off of it, but they're worth money. But that's not the value that it has. It's the personal value that it holds to Bill Nye or whoever receives it, right? That's the more important value of it. The fact that Ken Ham doesn't see any value in it means jack shit. Again, they don't give them out to dipshits, so who cares?
I mean, ask him how he feels about Hillary Clinton, and he might disagree with you on that.
I can bet if they called up Ken Ham and they said, we want to give you the Congressional Medal of Freedom for building that boat in Kentucky, I bet he would run his little creationist ass all the way to the White House to kiss Donald Trump's ass.
Would.
Right?
He sure would.
Yeah. So he would be concerned with that earthly metal. Then I'm almost positive. Now,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we can't actually say because it's a hypothetical and all that, but I can't imagine him saying no to it. Hmm.
That is the most important. And besides, I wouldn't want a medal from someone like Joe Biden with such a wicked anti-God worldview anyway. Now, as Christians,
I just picture him in like a 1920s, 1930s dress with his hand to his head. Oh, the world is so cruel to me, Joe. It's so cruel.
You know what? AR makes a good point. Donald Trump did give the Congressional Medal of Freedom to some dipshits, uh,
Did he?
Rush Limbaugh, and yeah. So again, to say they don't give it to dipshits is not really fair. They just don't give them to Ken Ham.
Which is a valid choice.
Yeah. Um, the I mean, here's the thing that really makes this the icing on the cake for this video is
Yeah.
that Ken Ham spends this whole time bitching about all the reasons that Bill Nye made the world a worse place and said all these things he didn't say and did all these things he didn't do. Like he says all that, which is enough in itself. But then he gets to the real point, right? I don't want Joe Biden's stinky medal anyway. Oh, you child.
Yes.
Could you be like could you like show your hand anymore in this case that it's just about that you can't handle the fact that Bill Nye got a medal and you didn't, like that's
Yeah.
what this is really about. Like
Yeah.
I don't want Joe Biden's old dirty medal anyway. Or he doesn't say that. He says he doesn't want it from Joe Biden.
From Joe Biden, right.
Yeah. Yeah, or the 19 Emmys Emmer said. Yeah.
our reward is in heaven. We shouldn't look for rewards in this earth, but our reward is in heaven. And that's what we need to get across to people like Bill Nye and Hillary Clinton and George Soros. Hey, our reward is in heaven. You need
So
to
wait, then he
trust
wouldn't
Christ.
take the award if it was from Trump? Is that what he's saying? Because
That's what he's trying to say, but yeah, right.
Okay.
And also our reward is in heaven. This is that exclusive club thing, right?
Yeah.
Our reward is in heaven. People like Hillary Clinton and Bill Nye and George Soros, they can't get this reward. Only I can get this reward.
Yes.
Um the and also our reward is in heaven. That doesn't preclude you from receiving other awards.
No. Did you sign an agreement that you couldn't get other awards with Jesus? Was that a thing? I didn't know that.
Speaking of the 19 Emmys, Bill Nye got those too, right?
Yep. Yup.
He should have turned those down too, because that's not those. It's not
Why
heaven.
did he not win an award for building his big old boat? Poor
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, doesn't he go on all the time about this is the biggest freestanding wood structure in the world? Doesn't he say that all the time? Like
He does.
seems to
And
be
the
like
next
dude
biggest
there.
one is in Japan, I believe. The next biggest Noah's Ark reconstruction, which is
It's
kind of
almost like
cool.
he does really put those arbitrary designations in front of all else.
The thing is, both the Japanese one and the one in Kentucky both boast that it is true to scale.
Of course. Well, the cubit thing is
Yeah, the cubit thing. The cubit thing.
Ken Ham claims only he has the right cubit. Of course.
Only we have the truth.
Canada has the biggest wood structure ice rink.
Thanks, Dustin.
Kentucky has the biggest Oh, no, it's not the biggest. It's the oldest wooden roller coaster. Oh, no, that's not even in Kentucky. It's in West Virginia. Never mind. I live right on the border. It's easy to get confused.
For salvation, that's the most important thing on this earth. Getting accolades, getting medals for a worldview that teaches against God, it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. They may get these rewards here on earth from a human perspective, but ultimately, what is God going to say?
Oh,
And where are they going to spend eternity? That's the ultimate question. That's what it's all about.
Bill Nye isn't the one talking about it, Ken.
No.
You are.
Nope.
No, Bill Nye isn't the one going on about the fucking medal. You are.
Truth.
This medal has meant more to you than it did Bill Nye.
There was zero reason for him to make that video from like a Christian perspective. That was pure spite and like that inward jealousy that he fights so hard with his biblical quotations about jealousy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was jealousy, bitter. Like he had to go out of his way. And I mean, through the whole thing, he goes out of his way to completely misrepresent the things that are said, and even in some cases, like in the video, he says, well, are you saying we're just animals? And he's like, no, I wouldn't use that word. Well, he's saying we're just animals.
Yes.
It's he really went out of his way to try and shit on Bill Nye and just made himself look horrible.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I don't even think like it's not just me as an atheist saying it. Like, I feel like even like to anyone watching this, they have
if
to
you
be
were
like,
in his
oh,
congregation, you'd be like, why are you so obsessed with this guy? Why don't we focus just on Jesus?
Yeah. If because
but he's got
like
this
he
grudge.
says, if the only real concern is heaven and the reward of heaven and God's reward, if the only real concern is all of those things, why did you just make a video going on about all these other things, about this other medal and about Bill Nye, who shouldn't mean shit to you? Like
Exactly.
the biblical worldview would be for you to turn the other cheek and move on, right? Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, we can't expect Ken Ham to be consistent in his.
No, of course.
This is and that's why it's so like this was a 7-minute video.
Yes.
And we've talked about it. Well, I went on for like 15 minutes before. But like this is why we had to cover this video, because there was so much just just laughable about it, like, and so many contradictions, and not only how he represented Bill Nye, but the things he himself was saying were all just completely. He gets science wrong, he gets quotes wrong, he gets the whole idea of it wrong. He doesn't understand what the medal was even for. Like,
I
and
want to go
he's
through
mad
and
about
fact check his whole video and have little pop-ups at the bottom that's like, fact check, this is untrue because of this reason. I want to do
that. Yeah, that that would work too. I'm too much of a smart ass to do it that way, though. I'm too wordy for that. Yeah. I'm glad we covered that, though. I think that was worth doing, though. I think it needed to be done, and I'm glad we did it like right when it came out. Like, this came out yesterday, right? This video.
It was within the last couple of days. I wasn't sure if it was yesterday or not.
Maybe 2 days ago. But yeah, I'm glad that we covered it, and just because I am on this whole kick where I'm going to be doing some content about creationists, and how awful that position is and why, and the arguments that make it awful, like not the arguments themselves, but the dishonesty and stuff that goes into it. And here is one of the biggest names in young Earth creation demonstrating my point before I've even made it.
Yes.
So there we go. Bring back pop-up video. Oh, pop-up video. Yeah, those were cool. Does Jess have dreads?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're just up and annoying right now, so they're very long.
So does anyone have any questions or comments or anything they want to address before we get out of here? I'm not gonna keep everybody. We spent an hour on it. I'm not gonna keep everybody too much longer than what it took to go through the video. I mean, you're welcome to stay on and keep streaming if you want, Jess.
I'm gonna go make dinner actually, so I do have some.
I'm gonna go eat dinner. I
gotta make it first. Dang it.
Yeah. I'm there's a bowl of chili waiting on me.
You whore.
The homemade chili. But this video of Bill Nye playing a speed walking superhero. Yeah, I don't know. It was the right fit at the right time. The video was, and and it's also funny just to see Ken Ham just so incredibly butthurt about it. If you were a creationist, what food would your name have in it? What food would your name have in it? What does that mean?
I don't know. I was hoping you knew what he meant.
I think he's purposely just asking a nonsense question. Okay. Can't argue against two of you getting food into your deserving bellies. You have my permission to eat. Oh, like Ken Ham, because he's got ham in his name. I see. I mean, I guess that's dirty. I guess.
Oh no.
What? I don't know. I can't think of a good one. But I was gonna say foot long, but
foot long.
Yeah. Nice. Joe Beef. Yeah, that's it. Joe Blow. Yeah, I grew up being called Joe Blow. Joe Blow from Idaho. The neighbors called me that my whole childhood. Guacamole Joe, and then no one ever used that one. Redneck rhubarb. Yeah. I don't know what rhubarb is. I'm joking. I know what rhubarb is. Joe Blow from Idaho, the Kentucky atheist. Yeah.
I like this. Right. I can do things.
Yeah. There's all kinds of neat stuff you can do in here, actually. But yeah, I guess with that, unless you got anything else you want to talk about, Jess.
No, I'm good. This has been amazing. Thanks everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. Definitely like and subscribe if you haven't. Join and get the members only feeds. Sometimes I might be doing more trivia for the members only stuff, so we'll see how that goes. And keep checking the Kentucky Atheist for some more stuff.
Cool. Yeah, and thank you, Amber, for gifting the memberships, and welcome to all the new members. I will in the coming days I'll be putting out some members only content. I know for a lot of you that have been here for a while, you know that I do a lot of that. But for the new members and stuff that haven't been a member on this channel until now, I make members content usually every week, every 7 to 10 days. Something comes out. Just to hang out and have an open panel and talk with anybody that wants to talk. In fact, some might even say that the members content is some of the more spicy content on the channel.
It's true.
We get into some interesting conversations because we're not really limited
It's true.
on those things. Yeah. But all right. Yeah, and if you're new here, please subscribe, like the video. That'd be awesome. That'd be great. And that's all I can think of to say. Good night.
Peace.